time to bring some chaos to the comment section. It's been a while. What's up, internet? I'm feeling funky today, and that's why I decided to talk about food. If you ever Google American foods, you will get some staple items that are the true hardcore symbol of America. You will get things such as hamburger, mac and cheese, apple pie, Budweiser, and none of them are actually American. What? Get ready to have your brain blown. Am I having a stroke? Brain blown. Today we're looking into 6 American foods that wouldn't be in America if it wasn't for immigrants. You're welcome. Although I contributed absolutely nothing to that. First food is actually a beverage. So we're gonna start with one of America's favorite beer, Budweiser. So one of the most American beers, Budweiser, actually has German and Czech origins. The name itself is a German derivative and it means of Budweis. That was an area in what used to be Bohemia and is now Czech Republic. So that beer actually comes from Budweis and it has been around since 13th century. So then in 1876, this guy, who is a founder of this company along with his friend Karl Conrad, which I couldn't find a lot of information on, but to be fair, I didn't really try that hard. They created a Bohemian style of lager in United States, which was inspired shockingly after a trip to Bohemia. And they started brewing that beer in St. Louis, Missouri. So he was motivated to brew a beer, and I'm quoting, "A beer similar in quality, color, flavor, and taste to the beer then made at Budweiser." The original Budweiser has been called the beer of kings since 16th century. This guy who brought Budweiser to America adapted the slogan and called it the king of beers. Now he owns a trademark to that slogan. And you might think, were the Czech people really okay with this? No. This is probably one of the most frequent dispute that has been going on for so long, and it actually has over 100 cases in court. Because the Czech company Budweiser Brewery has the same name. They do now have a rule. So in the European Union, except for Ireland, Sweden, Finland, and Spain, American beer may only be marketed as Bud, as the Budweiser trademark name is owned solely by the Czech beer maker Budweiser Budvar. Now, which lager is better? I will leave that to you. Let me know if you have tried both of them. Which one did you prefer? I'm so looking forward to reading comment section in this one. Next item on the list of 6 American foods that wouldn't exist in America if it wasn't for the immigrants is French fries. Now the name might give it away. It's like French, right? It's from France. No, the origins are actually from Belgium, a bit of French and a bit of Belgian influence. But America is, as far as I'm informed, the only country who calls the French fries, French fries. So those of you who are traveling to France or any European country, if you order French fries, they will know what you mean, but they will probably be like, oh, you mean pommes frites? Because that's what it's actually called. Well, in UK, it's called chips. In Slovenia, it's called pommes frites. And they're called something else in other countries, but I haven't done that much research. So if you are from another country, let me know what name you use for French fries. So although the name implies that they are from France, the origins can be found in Belgium. There is a little bit of confusion as to where French fries are from. So Belgian fishermen fried potatoes during the 20th century when it was too cold to fish. So that was their replacement for fishing. And then American soldiers came into contact with them during World War I and saw that they're eating French fries. And that's how French fries supposedly made it to the States. However, if you ask some other food historians, they say that the French fries have been served on French streets, so streets in France, as early as 1780. And in that case, Thomas Jefferson would be credited for bringing French fries. He has brought many other European recipes to the States. When he was visiting Europe, And then he served potatoes deep fried while raw in small cuttings to his guests during presidency. So, you know, the actual origins, it's like, you know, a little bit touch and go, but they are for sure from Europe. Let's move on to third food, which is hamburger. So hamburger or burger is one of the most American foods, because when you Google most American food, it's definitely a burger. Fun fact, hamburgers actually come from Hamburg, technically. I mean, in theory, part of it. So if you Google origins of hamburger, you will get two flags, the United States one and the German one. So, you know, so in 18th century, Hamburg was known for its beef, which was then minced and a bunch of spices were added to create a Hamburg steak. So during the political unrest, let's just call it that, some German immigrants brought that type of cuisine to United States. So the whole shebang started happening. And in the late 19th century and early 20th century, the patty started being placed between two slices of bread to make it a little bit more portable. So you could, like, you know, take it on the go and not just like hold a steak with your hands as you're walking the streets. I don't know what people did back then. That is probably one of the also biggest disputed where does it come from thing. Several American cities are credited to be the inventors of hamburger. It's a bit of a mystery. Next, we're gonna look into a whole company that is widely known across America, and that is Oscar Mayer. It has a very, very strong presence in the meat market. They are known for their hot dogs and bologna and Lunchables. Well, Oscar Mayer was an immigrant. He was born in Germany. Do you see a pattern here? And then he moved to the States, started working at Meat Market in Detroit, Michigan. And then he later on moved to Chicago, Illinois, and started to work in the meat market there. And then with his brother, he leased a market in Chicago, and that market was known to sell Bratwurst, Leberwurst, and Weisswurst. So if the names don't give it away, these are German dishes. And that market became very, very, very popular because that neighborhood was predominantly German in Chicago. So, you know, the whole thing kind of exploded because they were like, wow, this is like some proper German food. And then, you know, eventually became a company, and now it's known as Oscar Mayer Wiener. Next food on the list is apple pie. There is a saying, as American as apple pie. The phrase was first used in 1800s, but didn't become like a widely known thing until World War II, when the soldiers who enlisted started using it as a response as to why they enlisted. And the response would be, for mom and apple pie. So that kind of became a patriotic saying, and apple pie became a symbol of patriotism. But apple pie actually existed in the 15th century, where Dutch bakers used a specific recipe. But the first fruit pies were invented in England in 16th century. So both the Dutch and British settlers were credited for bringing apple pie to United States. Last on the list is mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is very popular in the States. To be honest, it wasn't until I moved to the States that I ever had mac and cheese. In Europe, you would have spaghetti, and then you would have like a Parmesan on top of spaghetti, either grated freshly or in like, you know, the little dust powder that comes. That was the only variety of mac and cheese and, you know, spaghetti and cheese that I've ever had. And then I saw that it's very popular here, especially among students, when it comes in these packagings with a powder that is supposed to be cheese. Its origins actually trace back to 14th century, to Italy and medieval England, but it was mainly more of a casserole. It would be cheese and pasta casserole. The first modern recipe for macaroni and cheese was used in a cookbook that was from 1769, and it's called The Experienced English Housekeeper. But it came to the States again with the help of Thomas Jefferson. He just brought a bunch of European recipes to America and was like, this is what we make American now, I guess. Because after a trip to France, Jefferson enjoyed the pasta dishes that he tasted there so much that he, by all means, wanted to bring the recipe to the States and make it like a thing, you know? But that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for James Hemings, who was the first American to train as a chef in France. And at 8 years old, he was purchased by Thomas Jefferson. So Thomas Jefferson would write down a sketch of how the dish looked like and gave it to this chef and was like, make me this. And voila, mac and cheese. Alrighty then, we have gone through 6 foods that immigrants brought to the States that are now the staple of American cuisine. Well, depends on the state that you are in. I know that in the South that is a little bit different, and then probably in New York it's a bit different, but usually, okay? I know that not all America is the same. I am very well aware of that. Anyway, this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if any of these have shocked you, and don't forget to subscribe so I don't have to yell. Toodaloo!